Are you eating a healthy diet but still feeling kind of like you're carrying around some extra water weight, you're anxious, or you just have some symptoms that you can't seem to make sense of? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you some sneaky but common signs that you may have a food sensitivity. I'm going to share with you how you can find out exactly which sensitivities you have and what you can do about it. Hi, I'm David, and I help people reclaim their lives from brain fog, chronic fatigue, and low self-esteem. So I work with a lot of people that are living a healthy lifestyle, or what they think is a healthy lifestyle. And that might even describe you. You think you're doing all the right things, you're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're doing even some biohacking, and they don't get the results that they're looking for. So what gives? One of the things that I've noticed pretty often is that there's usually some food sensitivity that is maybe not their root cause, but certainly a significant contributing factor to why they are unwell and why they have to put so much effort into being well. Do you feel like you're kind of pushing a rock up a hill, or if you abandon a really strict diet for even just a few days, you fall completely off course, you regain that weight? So if that's the case, a food sensitivity might be something to look into. And specifically what I'm referring to here is an IgG food sensitivity. IgG food sensitivities basically mean that your body is treating a certain food like a pathogen or a foreign invader. And the tricky part about this is that it's going to happen 24 to 72 hours after you've been exposed to a food. So it's not going to be something like bloating or an immediate reaction like a lot of people think. And it makes it pretty difficult to pin down because, let's face it, do you remember what you ate 72 hours ago? Do you remember all the ingredients in your meals even yesterday? Probably not. So, a lot of times people live with these symptoms. They may even consider them normal, or they may find coping mechanisms, but the coping mechanisms are really difficult to maintain long term. And so when we're talking about food sensitivities, we are talking about unprocessed whole foods. So things like nuts, avocados, gluten, dairy, eggs, eggplants, peppers, all sorts of things that we would normally find in our foods. And that's the issue, is that a lot of us think we're doing a good thing for our body by eating these whole foods, but our immune system is having a reaction to them. And that could be genetic, or it could be from intestinal permeability. So you may have a leaky gut. So in other words, those food particles are going into the bloodstream, or those immune cells are getting into your intestines, and then they're causing chronic inflammation, which is then leading to some of your symptoms. All right, so the first sign is having allergies that don't go away. So if it always feels like the transition from winter to spring, like that pollen is in the air, this is a telltale sign that you might have a food sensitivity. And why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but the main one is going to be intestinal permeability. We have to keep in mind that most of our immune system is based in the gut. So if we have gut-based issues, that is definitely going to impact our immune system. Okay, the next one is going to be chronic inflammation, or rather, pain in the joints. So if you have joint pain that moves around, so it goes from your hip to your knee to your back one day, you feel achy and it changes, and you never had a acute injury to any of those places, that's another sign to look. Hey, are you getting value from this video? If so, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to get this message out to more people. All right, back to the episode. So the next one's particularly frustrating, which is you eat a healthy diet, but you still can't lose that weight. So you're measuring all your macros. You might even be eating a hypocaloric diet. So if you're, let's say, having 1,600 calories a day and you're exercising, but you still can't get that weight off, this is a telltale sign that there's some systemic inflammation in the body. Why is this? Well, I'm going to go into this in another video, but just at a high level, when you have these gut-based issues, one of the things that happens is that you aren't able to put glucose or insulin into the cell. And so what happens as a result of that is that your body is always producing insulin. So you aren't really able to balance your blood sugar. So you're kind of swollen, inflamed, have a little bit of extra water weight. So next one is going to be skin rashes and rosacea, especially around the eyes, cheeks, and forehead. So a lot of people might think that, oh, these are going to be from hormone imbalances, and that might be true. Hormone imbalances are typically going to be especially here around the chin. Additionally, there may be some white spots under your skin, and that's definitely a telltale sign that it could be from the inflammatory response from a food sensitivity. The next one's really interesting, and it is racing heart immediately after you eat. And this one is actually the easiest one to measure. So if you're eating let's say there's a food that you suspect is a sensitivity. It might be eggplants, it might be nuts. You could try eating it and then use a heart rate monitor and just see if your heart rate goes up by more than 10 beats per minute. So let's say your resting heart rate is 65 beats per minute, but then you eat it, and then within 30 minutes, suddenly you're at 75 or 80, but you haven't had any caffeine, you aren't any more stressed, you haven't gone for a walk. This is a telltale sign that you may be sensitive to this particular food. Next one is weak hair and brittle nails. So what this is telling you is that you are malabsorbing nutrients. So when your gut is inflamed, you're not really able to extract the nutrients from the foods you eat. And specifically the nutrients I'm talking about are zinc, magnesium, and B vitamins. And those are all key for healthy hair and nails. So the next one is feeling fatigued. And while there can be so many reasons why one could feel fatigued, generally speaking, if you're eating 3 balanced meals a day, you're moving, and you don't have any extraordinary amounts of stress in your life, it's very possible that the foods you are eating are causing stress within your gut, and that's taxing your nervous system. All right, so now that you know some of the signs that you may have a food sensitivity, what should you do about it? So my number one recommendation would be to actually do a food sensitivity or the IgG food sensitivity lab. It's a really easy lab to do, and I think it's such an important component of your bioindividuality, especially nowadays where people are saying, oh, well, you should eat this or you should eat that. You really need to know what foods are actually good for you and what's your kryptonite. So can't recommend that enough. And your food sensitivities will change over time depending on your health, depending on the state of your gut especially. The next thing you can do is a rotation diet. So go on an elimination diet where you remove a lot of the top allergenic foods or the top food sensitivities, especially gluten, dairy, and eggs, and then you reintroduce a suspect food. It might be almonds, it might be eggplant, it might be peppers, whatever it is that you suspect might be contributing to your food sensitivities, and then you see how you react. I'm going to do a whole video on how to do a rotation diet step by step, so that if for whatever reason you cannot do the lab, you still have a way to find out what your food sensitivities are, because I'm in this to make sure that everybody can get help no matter what kind of situation they're in. Okay, so how do you repair it? So once you have a food sensitivity, what do you do? Well, there's a couple things, and it depends on the degree, but basically you're going to go on an elimination diet of sorts. So depending on the severity of the food sensitivity, you might delete it or remove it for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, or 6 months. And that's going to depend on how severe the food sensitivity is. And from there, you're probably going to have to go on some sort of gut healing protocol. A lot of times it'll be, maybe like a CBO protocol or something like that, but you're going to heal the gut wall, reduce that inflammation, probably do a functional medicine detox, and then you're going to reintroduce the food and see how you feel. There's going to be certain foods that you aren't going to really be able to reintroduce, but there are others that once you heal the gut, you can have them sparingly. So an example of that might be gluten. Like maybe you're never going to be eating bread every single day, but you can maybe have it 2 to 3 times a week, and it's not going to cause all the symptoms that you're currently feeling. And the end goal here is that you shouldn't have a toxic relationship to food. You shouldn't have to run away. You shouldn't have to struggle to maintain your ideal body weight. Instead, you should really heal things at their root cause and then lead a healthy lifestyle in moderation. And so really understanding your food sensitivities and recovering from a lot of the inflammation that is causing those symptoms is going to be very helpful. All right, well, that's it on today's video on food sensitivities. So if you got value from this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more updates on how to optimize your mind, body, and emotions. And once again, it's such a pleasure to be sharing this information with you. If there's a friend in need of it, please go ahead and share my video with them. And once again, may you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you move through this life with ease. If you have any questions, comments, anything else that you want me to talk about, please leave them in the comments below, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.